The Northern Territory's new drug and alcohol court has had its first graduates. The court's only been running for 7 months. It aims to get people who commit crimes to sustain their drug and alcohol habits to deal with their underlying problems in the hope they won't reoffend. Katrina Bolton was given a look at how it all works.
Graduation day from the Territory's so-called Smart Court.
I'd like to welcome everybody here today for our very first graduation ceremony for the Smart Court.
For the participant, it's the end of a long, intense process involving police, prosecutors, medical staff and a magistrate.
Silence, all stand. Darwin Smart Court is now in session.
The proceedings are held in a normal courtroom, but for everyone involved, the process is very different.
Now I think we'll just start with Dale.
It's much more open, it's much more about getting to the heart of what caused the offending and what the person's problems are, but it also involves having trained and funded clinicians who can work with someone on their problems and actually help them address them.
And so, Dale, this is going to be your last review before you're sentenced.
There is also much more interaction between the participant and the magistrate. Orders are given, progress monitored, failings and successes made public.
I think the thing that we are most impressed with is that you have got yourself a job. It's just fantastic.
This court is part of an effort to break the Territory's high rate of alcohol-induced crime and a revolving door that sees almost half the prisoners who get out of jail back again within 2 years. It's a lot of work. For the defence lawyers, there's no extra funding as yet.
Longer term, it'll be very difficult for us to sustain. It's something we're committed to, but we are looking for funding for it. We do think that it's important that Aboriginal people do have access to an Aboriginal legal service in the context of the Smart Court.
Those involved are celebrating the graduation. And while there's no guarantee the people who go through the Smart Court will stay clean, the magistrate in charge believes they're better equipped than ever to try.
These are people who ordinarily would be going into jail, and they would ordinarily be going into jail because their offences are serious or their history of offending is so long. And what we're trying to do is respond to the reason, really, why they're offending. And the reason for this category of people that they're offending is because they've got substance abuse problems, either illegal drugs or alcohol, and that if you treat that problem, then you will treat the person and you will keep them out of jail.
What are you asking of people?
Well, the aim is abstinence, but the way we're treating it is not just a case of you go off to 6 sessions of counselling. There's a full assessment done of everyone and their treatment needs as well as their other life factor needs are addressed.
How do you know that they're doing what you're telling them to do?
Well, as far as abstinence is concerned, they have a regular and random urinalysis. If the problem is grog, then they are having regular and random breath testing, and we get the results back to the court and we look at them, and there are sanctions imposed if they're not doing what they've said they're going to do. We support that. We allow a certain level of tolerance in the very early stages, but then we do become really quite prescriptive about if you use, sanctions are imposed, you go back in.
When you're working with people, what do you see about their attitudes to alcohol and life and how that changes?
There's a lot of failure to take personal responsibility at the beginning. There's often a lot of minimising at the beginning. But once people start to achieve things and do remain drug-free or grog-free and can see how much better they function in every aspect of their lives, they become incredibly enthusiastic about it, proud of their achievements. For some people, it's the best thing they've ever achieved in their life, and we really support that and we recognise that, and then that of course builds on itself.
Why go through so much effort?
Because it works, and that's because we know it works, and we know that most other things don't work in the criminal justice system. And if we are really serious about getting people rehabilitated, not just because of something warm and fuzzy associated with the people, but to reduce the burden of crime in the community, then we should be investing money and working and putting time into things that we know work. and we know that these kind of programs work.
Katrina Bolton with that report.